Chapter 17. I backed out of the tent. Jacob's not here. You sure? Thad poked his head in, only to retreat. Nope, he said, not here. Doubting myself, I looked a second time. Jacob was not there. Where do you think he went? Thad asked. Must have got tired waiting for me and went to a friend. Though I said that, I knew my brother had few friends, and those he had were not people I knew. I did look up and down the hill, but as far as I could see, the dreary, muddy street paths were desolate. Nearby tents were dark. A tent farther off, lit from the inside, glowed, but I didn't think Jacob, being shy, was likely to seek refuge with strangers. I felt uneasy. Thad said, "Want to find him?" Across the way, Señor Rosales' restaurant, where Jacob often was, stood closed down for the night. Since the cafe had no door, I crossed over and peeked inside. Señor Rosales was asleep in his coffin. There was no sign of Jacob. "He'll be back," I said, feeling more annoyed than anything. Thad said, "Gotta go. My old man'll be fretting. I'd bet you're right. He'll show up in the morning." I didn't take the bet, but I gave Thad 2 fish. "Your share, and take the crabs. Jacob doesn't like them." Thad pushed his fingers through the salmon gills and hefted the basket. "Guess I need my lantern," he said. I hung it over his free fingers. "Sorry about that oar." "Nothin'," he said, then stepped away through the mud. As he went, he lifted the fish and let their tails wave goodbye. "Got work tomorrow," he called. "Me too," I called back, "but we need to replace that oar. When I get some time, I'll come down to your store and get one." I watched him move uphill and soon disappear. I stood before the tent thinking about Jacob, where he might be. Downhill I saw that Portsmouth Square. The center of the city was yet abloom with lights along with shouts of men, and music too. Since my brother had no affection for gambling or drinking, I was sure he had not gone to such places. Besides, at that late hour I didn't think it was safe for me to go there alone. All this meant I had no idea, and, let it be said, no great desire to seek Jacob out. All the same, I kept wondering, where is he? Standing in the darkness, the chill wind rising, I turned back to the tent and stared into it. This was something that Jacob had never done before. Of course, I had to acknowledge I'd never come back so late either. I recalled that though I had told him where I was going that morning, he had been sleepy and might not have heard. A twinge of self-blame reminded me I had not made certain he'd heard me. Leaving the remaining fish by the entryway, I went into our tent. On hands and knees, I couldn't see a thing, I felt on the left side of the dirt floor for my sleeping space. When I found it, I untied my money belt from around my waist, checked to make sure I had my knife, and poked all under my bed. I lay down and drew Mother's shawl up to my chin. It being chilly, I was happy to be covered. As I listened to the wind luffing over our tent cloth, I hoped that Jacob, wherever he might be, was warm. For a while I thought about my day with Thad. I had so enjoyed it, not the least because I was free of clinging Jacob. That thought brought me to remember his idle chatter about seeking employment on a departing ship. Could he have done that? No, not in a million years. Then, where is he? I told myself he was not a baby, and in all likelihood I'd see him in the morning grumbling as ever. I even told myself that he might well have chosen to be away from the tent to vex me, to make me worry about him. So it was that I pushed aside my feelings of uneasiness and rolled over to my right sleeping side. A few moments later rain began to splatter hard against the tent cloth. Its steady beat lulled me. As I began to drift off, Father's words came into my head. "I'm depending on you to take care of the boy. Mother is depending on it. Is that clearly understood?" My last waking thought was, "Nothing has happened to Jacob. Nothing." That comforting idea eased me into sleep.